The weather is finally playing ball. It's tipped it down in the morning, but the sun has come out. It is a bit windy, so I apologise if you hear a lot of wind ruffling. Just got to help James get some sheep in so we can get them flowing. First job is pull out the little fat lambs in with the ewe lambs. That's just that to begin with. So this is literally all the ewe lambs, and just an odd shearling and all that kind of jazz. And you'll see the odd fat lamb left. They're going in with the fat lambs in there that we dropped off earlier in the week, if you remember. And then we're going to go through the ewe lambs and decide what's going to stay. It's quite an exciting day. Oh. Quick and easy shedding job. So this is all the fat lambs behind us. I'm just going to put some Ectofly on these because the rest of them in that group have had a dose of Ectofly and they're all matching up, and we're clear with what they had. And then after we put them back, we've got the ewe lambs to go through there.
What, the other sprayer?
Yeah. Now to count them past. There's 44, but there's 4 ewes in there that shouldn't be. So there's 40 lambs, plus the few that are in there. Plan of attack, we're going to be shedding 3 ways. Definite yeses in this pen. The ones that I want to have a second look at are going straight on, and any that I don't like are going to go into the field. Right, so we're going to do this in different ways. We're going to do them in the Tapari here just because it's probably the easiest place to do them. We'll look at performance figures as well as looks and literally just personal preference as well. So I'll talk you through as I go. We just need to get this loaded up and then we're ready for action. 45.5. What we're looking at is 8-week weights and like 16, 21-week weights. Don't know how well you can see because of the sun. It's not the best sight, but you should be able to see there. It's going at 0.4 grams per day, 0.31 and 0.3. Those first 3 weights are Feb to June, so that's first 16 weeks, and the one after that will be its 20-21 week weight. So we want all these lambs that we are keeping to be doing at least 250 grams a day daily live weight gain, which shouldn't be too hard this year because they averaged 310 for those first ones, which is absolutely incredible. It's better than we've ever done. But I want to check them because there is an odd one that is underperforming. We don't want to be keeping them for breeding. So what we're going to be doing is looking at these figures for each of these lambs. We're going to look at breed characteristics. So they want to have a jet black nose, just like that there. So it's jet black. We're making sure they've got no ginger hairs on their legs, stuff like that. And just to breed type, and then anything that's a big single, hopefully, my thinking is they're going to be sold because they'd do really good for someone as a top-end lamb, but we found some of our sheep have got a bit too big on the farm the last couple of years. I think it's mainly those big singles, so we're going to sell them. They'll do someone else really well, but we're trying to drop the size of our ewes slightly. So that is the plan. We're going to go through it and see how we get on. Also, a big thing we're looking at is teeth, so we want their bite to be right. I'll just grab the camera so you can see. We're looking at the bite of these lambs, so if you look here, you'll see that bite is really good. Its teeth are right up against the gum. That is really important for a ewe and its longevity, because it's under or overshot, it won't be able to graze for as long because its teeth will wear away quicker, so it's really important. Well, I'll do them at the end if we've got enough time. 57.5. So going through these, I picked one lamb out which was overshot, which I've chucked in there and marked it. But if James holds the camera here, just like this is the most overshot lamb I think I've ever had. Can you see the side there? Can you see that? So it means if I open that up, you see its bite all the way under there. I've never had anything like that, but you get these things. So that one is going, that's going in the fat field. 10 years I've had sheep, that is the most overshot lamb I've ever had. We knew which way Blue is going, you're staying, mate. So those 8 behind me, they're going off to Cowley Hill. We've pulled them out. I've tried to pick out a really nice pen there. Then we've got about 75, 80 behind them that are staying if we come this way, James. These are all the ones I've kept out for my own replacements here, including there's some border Leicesters. This will be the best pen of lambs I've ever sold, and they're not just the best, they're way above anything we've sold. And the majority of these will be out of the Dylan Jones ram that we bought a couple of years ago for just over £3 and the LLeyn Organ ram we bought last year for over £3. So the genetics in these 8 lambs, like, just look at them, the size and how well they've grown. I just thought pick a nice impact. There's 8 there, and they're heading up to Cowley Hill in 6 weeks. And this is what we have left. These are all the replacements that we are keeping this year. We have a blue Clin, there's a couple of border crosses, but yeah, all purebred Clins. There's about 80 in here. These are all the ones we're keeping ourselves. We've scanned all these we're keeping in, and then that leaves us with about 25 more here that I've picked out to sell. These will be available at sales too. Right, we're going to scan them in, and that is us done for today. They're all going to go out, but it's just they need to get sorted, so we have an idea for numbers and tups and all stuff like that. It's another good job ticked off. And today we are heading down south, and no, we're not doing another outdoor lambing video. We are in fact going to a tup sale, but not a Clin tup sale. Today we're taking the leap into a bit of unknown. Today we're going buying a shedding ram. Well, I hope we're going to buy a shedding ram. Today we're heading down to Devon to the LLeyn sheep, the I think 10th annual LLeyn tup sale, ram sale, whatever you want to call it. That is where we're off today, so I'm super excited. I don't really know what to expect. Right, we've made it. We're at the LLeyn sale down at Tiverton in Devon. There's quite a few to look at, so we're going to head inside so I can see. I think there's some food available that they're giving out for free, and then the sale's at 1 o'clock. So we've got a couple of hours. It's currently about 11:15. Plenty of time to have a look, see what's cracking on, and then yeah, hopefully we'll come home with a tup. But we won't be coming home with a tup, so you can see we're in the Gulf because they actually deliver them. So it's super exciting. Makes life a bit easier and fuel consumption a bit better. Today I'm at the 10th annual LLeyn sale looking for an LLeyn ram to bring into the flock. The aim is to find a ram that's going to work hard for years, pass on the right traits and keep our lamb crop improving year on year. For me, that means checking a few things, starting with his physical soundness and looking at his performance figures too. First thing I check is their teeth. I want a ram whose teeth meet the dental pad cleanly with no overshot or undershot jaw. Next up, the testicles. Sounds obvious, but they're the business end of the ram. I'm looking for 2 even-sized, firm testicles with no lumps or abnormalities. Strong feet are a must. I check each foot for shape, strength and any signs of past lameness. Pasterns tell you a lot about the longevity. I'm looking for a pastern that is upright but with a little spring, not too soft and dropped, and not overly straight and stiff. Weak pasterns can lead to early breakdown, especially in heavier rams working on tougher ground. Finally, I go to the paperwork. With LLeyn's, performance recording is a big part of the breed. I check the 8 EBVs for traits that I want in the flock,
growth rate, maternal ability, parasite resistance and lamb survival. Figures tell me what his genetics should deliver, while my physical checks tell me his body can do the job.
Right, it's started to get quite busy in there. We have marked up 4 possibilities. Number 4, number 13 and number 22. So 3 possibilities. The one I really like the look of is number 4. Just come away, because normally if you look at them too much you can start seeing too much, or you know what I mean. So we're gonna have a rest, go back, have a look. We've had a look at the figures, and then yeah, it's auction time in half an hour, so we'll see what we can buy. I have no idea what prices are going to be like. I'm going to treat it like a clean sale, and what will be will be.
1,000, 1,000, 1,000.
1,000 online.
No, 1,000 here, 1,000 got 50 over there, 1,050, 1,100 and 50, 1,200 and 50, 1,300 and 50, 1,400 and 50, 1,500, 1,450, 1,500, 1,550, 1,600, 1,650, 1,700, 1,750, 1,800, 1,850, 1,900, 2,000, 2,1, 2-1, at 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 2-3, at 2-3, at 2-3, at 2-3, here you're going to come again, at 2-3 over here on the right, at 2-3, at 250, I'll take 50 if you want, 2-350, 2-350, 2-350, 2-4, at 2-4, 2-450, 2,500, at 2,550, 2,550, go on, one more, 2,550, 2,550, you want him, he's lovely, at 2,550, at 2,550, he's here on the left, 900 online, 950 behind you, one more, 1,700, 1,700 here on the left at 1,750, 900 online, 950 online, at 950, thank you online, 1,000, thank you, at 1,000, at 1,000 online, anybody want to come in the room, we got 1,000 online, at 50, at 1,100, and 50, 1,200 and 50, 1,300 and 50, 1,400 and 50, 1,500 and 50, 1,600 and 50, 1,700 and 50, 1,800 and 50, 1,900 and 50. Thank you, 2,000 and 2,000. We're in here in the room, that's Sam at 2,000. At 2,000.
Right, not ideal, unsuccessful day, but it is what it is. First one went for 2,550, obviously didn't get that. Second one we wasn't 100% on, so didn't bid on it, and the third one, which I preferred over the second one, went for £2,000. I had a quick bid on one afterwards, but rule of thumb, I just stopped because I don't want this sheep. At the end of the day, I'd rather not take anything home than take something home that I don't want. So unfortunately we leave here with nothing, but I'm sure we'll find something down the line. Stay trip out, is what it is, we'll carry on. I have had a day to let this brew a little bit, and just having thought about the sale the other day. So obviously went down, there was 27 Ixlana tups which are MV available to buy, and if I'm brutally honest, I was a bit disappointed. So within the Clyn site, we've had Clyns for 10 years now, really good in terms of ram inspections. They're good in their mouths, testicles, feet, all that kind of thing, pasterns. But I just felt some of the tups there on the day were picked too much on figures, and the actual tup in front of us, or ram in front of us, wasn't looked at in terms of the key factors of a sheep. There's some dip backs and stuff like that, and you just gotta remember, I know these are some of the best figured tups in the country, but I crossed off 6 or 7 on my list for having bad feet and bad pasterns. These are maternal rams or tups, whatever you want to call them, and the problem with that is, so I'm just going around the ewes now. If you put that tup onto our ewes, I'm really strict on that kind of stuff, and it affects the longevity of their offspring. If they go down the pasterns and end up with bad feet, that ewe might not be able to produce for as long. She might have really good figures, so when she is producing, they're really good offspring, they do what we want, they do what the figures want. But if they've got bad feet, they're not going to last. And it was, I have rang them up, I had a chat with one of the guys at Ixlana to say I was disappointed. There was still good tups there, but I was actually shocked myself that they'd let Sony through the net with bad feet basically and bad pasterns. There was a lot of them that were down on the pasterns quite badly, which some people don't care about. And if it's a terminal tup, it doesn't matter too much, because that the lambs out of that ewe, they're going into the fat ring or into the food chain, so you're not meant to be keeping replacements out of them. So they're slightly down, it don't matter. But when you've got a maternal ewe, you've got to be thinking completely differently, because all those traits in that tup, as well as the figures, go into your flock, and soon, in a couple of years time, those genetics could be through the whole flock. So if you've got something with bad mouth, and to be fair, I didn't feel anything with bad mouth, all the testicles were right. But this ewe here, for example, she's up on her pasterns. I know it's on grass, you can't see too bad. And that is just how we want a ewe. Upright, like that. The problem was, I reckon a quarter of those tups rams were bad. And I don't know. I've been brought up on the Clun world, and they're really, really strict on it, as though you should be with maternal tups. With any tups, in fact, you should be trying to be breeding the best thing you could. And yeah, I'm not trying to slag Xlana off, because there was a couple in there I picked out and liked, but afterwards it has worried me a bit, because if those genetics from the same breeders are in there, those tups that look good could throw stuff like that. And if the ewes in the flock are bred the same way, so its mum might have bad pasterns, and just because it's young, it hasn't quite dropped yet. This is just from experience of me being in breeding my own replacements for a while. It's just a little bit of a worry. Like, those tups all were making good money on the day. There wasn't much that made under 2 grand in the MV side. We left after that, we didn't get anything. I was disappointed. Basically, the one tup I picked out that was a really nice tup, we didn't have the budget for. If it was a clean, we probably could have gone a bit further, because we'd have known a bit more about it. But for an experiment, we can't afford, I can't warrant that kind of money for an experiment. If I've had them a while, maybe it's a bit different. But some of the tups are a bit smaller, they're on grass based systems. I'm not going to moan about that, because I know they will come on. There are some in there that are a bit small, will produce you a small ewe. There's a market for it, so I'm not going to moan about it. The thing I will moan about is the structure of the sheep. It is imperative with a maternal ewe that the structure of the tup and the ewe it's going on are spot on. They can't have problems. So I don't know who inspected it, but I think next year they need to be a bit stricter on them. This is a personal opinion. Everyone has their own personal opinions. I'm not slagging off the whole breed. There was just a few tups in there that I don't think should have been there. It disappointed me, because I know the standards that the Clun's set. Right, rant over. I'm just being honest. I've spoken to them about it. I'm not doing it behind anyone's back. And yeah, I'll leave you with that.